Tell me about your dream home. Include such details as location, looks, size, neighborhood, features, square footage, beds, bath, etc. There's no correct answer here, so tell me what your dream home is. It's all about what you think. All right. So imagine you would like to purchase a $275 home using 20% as a down payment or $55,000. Determine the monthly mortgage payment for your dream home using the terms below. So you're going to, in your notes here, you've got this mortgage calculator right here. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work, but the website is practicalmoneyskills.com/cost of loan. So you'll go there, and then let's see, the loan total amount. You're going to, first of all, you're going to do some subtraction. So it's not $275 loan. It's actually 275 minus 55, so 220. So total loan amount is 220, and then the interest rate here is 3%, 15-year. So 3%, and then 15-year. You're gonna have to do that math. So that's 15 times 12, since this is in months, and that's going to be 180 months. And there we go. So what does the information ask for? It wants to know the monthly mortgage payment. So monthly mortgage payment right here, $1,519.28. Okay, so you're gonna do that same thing for these two. Again, that is practicalmoneyskills.com/cost of loan. If you click on this, this is Practical Money Skills, but then it's an error, so you can just come in here and say cost of loan, and that should do it for you. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video to answer the rest of these, and then which mortgage would you choose and why? All right. So how do you think credit can affect a person's ability to get a mortgage, and why do you think it affects it? That's a what do you think question, so you can go ahead and answer that. And then creditworthiness is a factor that is considered when applying for a mortgage. So how worthy of credit are you? All right. So there are 9 steps to buying a house. These are steps as I came up with them. The first step is to build credit. This is something that you should be doing right now, or if not right now, in the very near future. This is something you should have done for a few years before you try to go buy a home. If it's time for you to go buy a home, you're ready, you think financially, but you don't have the credit built, you're going to have issues. So number one, I want you to start building credit. That means paying for things on time. You can get a credit card if you pay for it all the time on time. But that's one. And then this is the next one that has to do with things you do before you're ready to actually buy a house is save money. You don't have to know what house you're buying or where you're buying the house or how much money you're spending. You know that saving money is an important step to buying a house. And it's something that you do before you ever actually start looking for an actual house. All right, number 3 is what you start to do when you're actually ready to start thinking about buying a house, and that is find a realtor. So a realtor is going to help you with numbers 4 through 9. You can find a realtor all kinds of places. You can find a realtor by walking into an open house that'll be a realtor. You can find a realtor online, just on Google. Chances are you probably know a realtor or two. You do want to find somebody who has some experience and is in your corner. When you are buying a house, you don't actually have to pay your realtor. Your realtor gets paid out of the proceeds of the sale of the house, and they get paid by the seller. So you really want to find an amazing realtor, whether you're buying or selling, but especially when you're selling a house. And so that's something that you're going to think about later. But when you buy your first house, you do want to find somebody who sort of specializes in what you're looking for, in the area that you're looking for. Maybe somebody who's really good at helping buyers, working on the buyer side, working on with people who are trying to buy houses. But that realtor is going to help you through the rest of these steps. Step number 4 is get mortgage pre-approval. If you don't have somebody that you can talk to, your realtor probably will. They do this all the time. They can get you hooked up with somebody who's going to get you pre-approved. They're going to ask for all kinds of documentation and all kinds of different things, different proof of employment and tax returns and things like that. And then they're going to give you a number. They're going to say, on a 30-year mortgage, you can afford X amount of money. And then now you know sort of where to start looking. It doesn't do you any good to start looking at houses that are outside your price range because it's going to be even more difficult to settle on something that is within your price range. Next is pick a location, city or neighborhood type. So if you're just thinking about living in Greenville, that's pretty easy. You know, you want to live in Greenville, and then you kind of know where the good neighborhoods are, where the neighborhoods are based on where you work and where you want to live. For my wife and I, when we were buying our house, we had to look because I work in downtown Greenville and she works in downtown Anderson. And so we had to make a decision about where we want to live. Do we want to live in Greenville or in Anderson or somewhere in between? There's not a lot in between Greenville and Anderson, just a lot of farms. So as we were trying to figure out where to live, we decided to live closer to the Anderson side because it's cheaper. Well, now if we want to move to Greenville, now we picked a new location, and now we have to find a neighborhood type. So we're going to be driving around Greenville. We can go look in Taylor's, or we can look in Greer, or we can look in Simpsonville, or we can look in Powdersville. There's all different places we can look, and that's going to be based on the feeling we get of the neighborhood, where we work. I work here, but where is she going to work soon? So that's all going to be sort of part of that. Do we want to be near a park? Do we want to be near the good schools? All kinds of different questions like that. And then you can have some flexibility here, right? You can have some flexibility to be, I want to be in this type of neighborhood or this type of neighborhood. If you narrow yourself down to one very specific neighborhood, it's going to be really hard to find a house in that neighborhood, and you'll end up overpaying. So you want to have a pretty good idea of a few different neighborhoods and say, okay, well, I kind of want to live north or northeast of downtown, something like that. That would be how you would do that. And then next is you got to see lots of houses. It can be really difficult to just make a decision on the first house you see. Your realtor, a lot of times, they're going to want you to make a decision on the first house you see. They're going to say, oh, this seems like it's a great house. It's a great price. It's mostly what you're looking for. And maybe it is. But you're really going to get a sense of what the houses are costing and what the value is, so that when you walk into that house that ends up being the house you put an offer on, you've walked into 20 other houses or 50 other houses before that. Hopefully it's not 50, that's a lot. But you've walked into 20 other houses and you say, okay, this is a good bargain at this price. I feel like I'm making a good purchase here, and you can feel confident when you place an offer. Next is your offer. So this is something that your realtor is going to handle for you. You tell them what you want to offer, what the contingencies of the offer are. You tell them, I want to offer this amount of money, and this is how I want the offer to be structured, and they're going to walk you through all of that. But just understand that the offer is somewhat binding. You can't say, yeah, I want to make an offer on this house, and then turn around the next day and make an offer on another house unless your first offer was already rejected. This is a problem that we sort of ran into, is that we had seen 20 or so houses, and then on one day we saw 2 houses, and those 2 houses were both the best 2 houses we had seen. And so we had to decide which one we wanted to make an offer on. And I mean, I think that if we had seen the other one that we didn't end up buying, if we had seen that one a day before, we probably would have made an offer on it, and we would have had our money tied up for the one we bought. So it's when you make an offer, it ties your money up there. But then if they accept it, then you can move on to the next step, which is being under contract. So under contract, there's going to be a date picked for the closing, and then all these things have to happen, like inspection. You have to get your insurance done. You have all kinds of different things and reasons for one side or the other to back out. And then if that happens, then it doesn't go through. But then once everything's done, once everybody's ready, you get to your closing date, and that's when you close. You go and you sign your name a whole bunch of times, and at the end of that, you sort of own your house. I mean, really, the bank owns it, and you get to pay the bank back, but you sort of own your own house at that time. And that is the culmination of us buying a house. That is the day that we closed on our house 3 years ago, and that's our house right there in the background in Anderson, South Carolina. All right, so you've got 3 scenarios here. These are the 3 scenarios in your notes. You can go ahead and read through these, answer them. Did you buy it or did you pass, and why? So do that in your notes, and then we are done for the day.